Hello, and welcome back to Worldview Connections, Worldview Life Skills for this series on being assertive. Continuing on with the Bill of Assertive Rights, you have the right to make mistakes and be responsible for them. And I would add, sometimes you don't have to explain yourself either. You have that assertive right. You have the right to say, I don't know. Now, think about this. Assertiveness requires courage. Sometimes it's scary to do this, and fear keeps us from being assertive. Don't let fear keep you from progressing and moving on. You have the right to be treated with respect and not to be taken for granted. You have the right to be independent of others. You have the right to be illogical in making decisions. So I have to say for a minute, the picture of Captain Kirk and Spock brought to my mind this rule, this assertive right, I should say, that we're not always logical, as Spock would say. And he observed the humans, and I'm a Star Trek fan, of course. A lot of people find a lot of meaning in these episodes, and so that's something. It's a kind of a exploration of psychology, if you will. That being assertive. Well, okay, I made this decision based on feelings or subjective experience. That's okay. That's your assertive right. As long as no one's getting hurt, do it. You have the right to say, I don't understand. You have the right to say, I don't care. Now, this takes courage as well for those of us who have allowed ourselves to be passive and taken for granted. Now, those of us who are aggressive need to allow others to say, I don't care, and not be aggressive and not to force them or manipulate them. You have the right to say, I will not allow you to do that to me. Now, as an educator and parent, I teach children that they have the right to say, I will not allow you to do that to me. This includes giving and receiving hugs with relatives and family friends. This is just one example. Teaching children how to be assertive is a valuable and very rewarding experience. And I think it's very meaningful. In summary, each person has a right, you and I, to choose. We have moral agency to use our free will as we choose, as long as we're not violating the human rights or harming others, especially physically and psychologically. But these are our Bill of Assertive Rights. Now, defining assertive behavior, going more in detail, assertive behavior involves being clear about your own needs and expressing these respectfully to others, knowing that all others at all times also have the same right to express their needs. The power of will you, statements, and clear communication. So on the top right, I have this picture from Planned Parenthood that I really liked. Think of the acronym FRIES. I love fries. You have the assertive right to make sure that you're consenting and that your friend or your partner is consenting. Freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, specific communication. So, in other words, assertive communication, being clear about your own needs and expressing these respectfully to others, knowing that all others also have the same right to express their needs. Respect, no responses. Respect for others to agree or disagree and consent to your requests. So, this is being assertive, the healthy balance between being aggressive and passive. So, let's look at a few different ways to communicate better. So, there's accusatory language, which may be passive aggressive. Maybe, so this is the off balance on the left side, which is the no good thumbs down symbol, versus the right side is the assertive language. So in this case, instead of saying, I want you to stop making me feel so angry, you say, I felt really upset and hurt. And then you go in to describe whatever the situation was. Let's talk about one more before we end the video today and continue to go into this assertiveness. Accusatory language says, I want you to not be so mean. Now, being assertive would say, I want to be treated with kindness. So you're communicating with others what you feel, what you think, without the fear of being hurt, and also without being aggressive, without disrespecting others. So I language is not always, as you see, sometimes people say use I language. Well, it can become manipulative as well. So being assertive is using the healthy way of having relationships and communicating your ideas and feelings. Okay? So stay with us. Thank you for joining us on this series about being assertive.